Hey guys, so welcome back. I'm in my room, but this is going to be a little daily vlog of what I'm going to do during the day. Obviously, I need to start, I need to take a test this week, but I'm not planning to do it until maybe tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, last day to actually do the test, so I have to study a little bit. But before that, I need to cut my bangs, I need to do my makeup, I'm going to re-record a video I had done of living in 2016. What was it like? The real trends and the things. How was it to actually live in 2016? Because apparently now it's an aesthetic, and let me tell you the real truth about 2016. But that'll be a video that I'm going to record. Obviously, you're going to see all this live, and then I'm just going to cut up some portions to do either a little vlog or to edit it and like put pictures within the video and stuff. So yeah. So first things first, I need to cut my bangs because they're super long and they literally hurt my eyes. So obviously, don't try this at home. This is not a tutorial on how to cut your hair, but if you are gonna cut it, make sure you have hair scissors, not some random chopped scissors to use, and then cut little by little. That way, don't chop it off immediately, because then your hair is not going to grow back in 2 seconds if you decide that it's not what you want. So go little by little. Obviously, it's a little tedious. It's going to take forever, but that's the way. Obviously, make sure that if your hair is wet, it will shrink back up when it's not wet anymore. So take that into account. So if you cut it super short and it's wet, it might be shorter once it dries. So I think I'm going to leave it like this just because I'm not sure what the heck I'm doing. Okay, this portion I'm going to cut it a little bit more. Even though I do like the way my bangs look when they're cut evenly all throughout, I do like some portions of my bangs being longer than the others, just because, I don't know, it looks better. I like the aesthetic of it being a little bit longer. So some portions of my bangs, I do like them a little bit uneven. That's just to me. And try to make it straight. But yeah. Cut little by little, guys, remember. There, perfect. I finally like them. I think it looks cute. Now, after you cut your face, always wash your face because it has little hairs from the ones you cut, so make sure you do that. Especially if you're prone to acne. Always try to keep your clean face. And okay, so I always put a towel, that way my little countertop doesn't get dirty. Okay, so I'll be back. I am gonna charge you. Oops. I'm gonna charge you, and so we can do the get ready with me and the story of what was it like to actually live in 2016, the real trends, and all of that good stuff. And then once I have a battery, I will go and make coffee and do a little study vlog or whatever the case may be. Obviously, this is a live, so y'all be seeing the actual raw real footage and the errors, while the rest of the people will be seeing an edited version, one with pretty transitions and colors and pictures. So yeah, you're gonna be the OGs seeing the original stuff. So I'll leave you there. I'll be back so we can do the get ready with me. So give me a second. Is it charging? I'm just gonna check if you're charging. Yeah, you are. Okay, I'll be back. Hello, I'm back. Did you miss me? JK. So, my face. Let's do a get ready with me. Obviously, I need to do my skincare first. So, yes. So, before we get started with the get ready with me and everything, something that I've always liked to create content. This is a little about me. I've always liked to create content ever since I was literally little. I have videos of me like maybe like 5-6 years old, and my family has always loved to record videos, and especially ones where it's like they would tell me like, oh, say hi to your camera, or whenever it was their birthday, or whenever we would go to like a trip, my parents would be like, say hi to your camera, say something, or be like, or if we're recording like a birthday or whatever, they're like, oh, it's so-and-so's birthday today, and like they literally talk to a camera. My parents, way before I guess the term influencer was called. So I've always liked making content. Even when I got my first phone, like I only like 2-3 influencers that weren't really influencers for me. They were like YouTubers. They would be girls in their room cleaning their closet, cutting their hair, doing their nails. Makeup wasn't really a big thing back then. Some of them did because they were older than me, so like they would put makeup on. But I love those videos, and them just talking about life and like their things. I love watching those. And now that I'm grown, I do like a lot of creators and I like their content, but I feel like everybody has been doing podcasts, and most of my influencer girls that I used to follow, well, now they have like a whole life or whatever, or they're doing like their boyfriend girlfriend content or their kid content. And I'm still, even though I'm pretty much not a young adult anymore, like a teen, I'm still like in my young adult era in my years. So like there's things that obviously like like the mommy and dad, like the mom and dad like videos, or like the family videos, like, well, I don't connect to them that much anymore. And most people, yes, I love seeing Get Ready With Me's, and the new type of content that I've been watching has been vlogs, and I love that, because I'm like, I wish I could go like to New York or Chicago, or to the different, like sometimes they do trips, like Disney trips, and I love watching those. So but more and more I guess time, I've seen that well, some content like I don't resonate with anymore, and sometimes I'm usually I eat lunch by myself or whatever, and sometimes I'm like, oh, like I really want to watch something, but it's usually always podcasts or problems or like stuff, and I'm like, I want something else. So that is also one of the reasons why I started creating content, actually not creating it but posting it, because I've always created it but I just never posted anything. But at this point I have nothing to lose, so y'all are gonna be joining me in my journey. Hopefully I can become your new favorite YouTuber, influencer, what's it called, down low, in the low key, when you're bored, or when you have to fix your room, or when you're eating lunch and you're like, ah, I need to watch something. I know I do that, and I love doing that. So hopefully y'all get to enjoy my content. And yeah, pretty much I'm trying to find where my moisturizer is, but I can't find it. Because there's a makeup moisturizer and then there's a normal moisturizer that I use, but I can't seem to find it. But anyways, let's just put this one. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. So now let's start. Well, let me finish my skincare, because if not, I'm gonna look so weird when I start editing. Okay. So always put moisturizer, but this time I feel like I put too much, so always let it to dry. So while we do that, let's start getting our makeup. So one of the things that we're going to do in this video is talk about the famous 2016. Everybody, I've been seeing it everywhere. It's the new aesthetic, it's the new thing. Well, let me tell you how it was to live in 2016. Let me tell you the ins, the outs, what was going on in 2016. What was it like? What was it to live back in 2016? So I'm in my 20s. And when it was 2016, I was either 14 or 15. I don't really recall, and I'm not great at math. So there's that. So, there's a lot of things going on in 2016. It's been a trend, because it's like 2016 is the new 2026 or blah, blah, blah. So let me tell you what was going on back in 2016. So, things I liked and things I didn't like. Obviously, things were different. Don't cancel me. But let's go. So first things first, 2016, I was around 14 or 15. And I was in middle school. Oh my gosh. I know everybody says middle school was crazy, but like for me it wasn't. Like, I promise you. I think I was a good kid. I never broke the rules or anything, but one thing that was super going on with my life back then was trying to fit in with the crowd. I didn't have any social media or like phones or stuff like that, like the rest of my classmates, but nobody ever found out, because the good thing was that my school was super strict on phones and stuff. Like, if they saw the outline of your phone in your pocket or in your bag or whatever, they could take it away. Like, by law, like, they could take it away. So, and parents wouldn't get, like, mad or anything. Like, they would have to pay to get their phones back. So, good thing I never really got caught with not having a phone. Like, not having, like, belonging, it was having technology. Nowadays, like, everybody has technology, but back then it was like if you didn't have technology at all, you were like the outcast. You were like the ill, like bad. So I think my moisturizer is finally done. Okay, so let's start. One thing was that I love that was big, super big back then. The same way we have the aesthetic of drinking Starbucks and matcha and iced coffees and Dutch Bros and all of those brands of different coffee types. Same thing was back in 2016, like it was super, super famous back then. But what we would drink, our aesthetic drinks were the famous refreshers. It was like colorful drinks. That was super big back then. I remember seeing videos of people like, okay, go ask the Starbucks. Starbucks was like a big franchise back then. It still is now. Oops, I heard something. It still is now, but now, like, you know how some people are like canceling it, blah blah. So, but back then it was like the main coffee producer, viral drink, aesthetic drink maker, I guess. So refreshers and like different color drinks were like super in. I remember watching videos of, okay, ask for a refresher and then this strawberry and then add a blue Powerade. It was the time where the trends were mixing in your drinks and mixing it with normal stuff from home and asking for like a venti ice thing just so you can put your Powerade with your mixed in refresher. And even though it might taste disgusting, it was like a trend. Like everybody tried the drinks going on. I remember dragon fruit was like a big thing back then as well. The colors and stuff, like blue. That is something I liked, even though some of them I did not try them. I did enjoy seeing my friends buying like the drinks and telling me what they tasted like. Cause let me tell you something. My first Starbucks was not until I was 21 when I went to college. So so yeah. So that was a big thing. That is something that I really liked back in 2016. The other thing that was way super big back in 2016 was everything was colorful. Like not only our drinks, but what we wore. I remember having like green jeans, red jeans, orange jeans. Like we would have the most randomest colors, and we'd always use we'd always use them. Now it's giving like a beige aesthetic mom vibe, but back then we would use super colorful. The more colorful, the better. And yeah, I don't have a lot of pictures back then. Like I said, I didn't have social media. I didn't have a phone. The pictures that I would have would be for like family gatherings that my parents took the pictures. So I do remember some of them, and some of the combinations were so out there. It was like green and like, I don't know, like green and red, or like yellow, orange, or like, it was the most randomest colors you could find. Some of them did look good. Some of them I was like, what in the world was I wearing? Like, it looked bad. But, you know, it was part of the whole aesthetic. Everybody was wearing the most randomest colors. Another big trend back then was, another thing with color was wearing different color shoes. So I don't know if it was Nikes or Jordans that got this shoes that was, one was orange and the other one was blue, or red and blue. I don't really recall the colors, but it was one, the left was one color and the right was another color. So that was a big thing. I remember some parents are like, oh, they're just wearing random shoes. No, they literally bought the shoe. The box was like, the brand literally made two different color shoes, and it was super in to be wearing those colorful shoes. Neon was such a big thing back then. I remember having jean jackets that were neon, like green, yellow, pink. I still had some. I still fit into them. The only thing is that, like, I showed this much of wrist because I used to be a little bit shorter. So wearing neon was so in back then. We literally looked like highlighters. I'm not joking. Like, some of those trends, like, I get, like, it's cool and everything, but now I'm like, are you sure that the kids now in 2026 want to be like the kids in 2016? Are you sure? So yeah. Another big trend back then was the braids. Even though for me, I feel like it wasn't, but I saw a video recently of another creator where she was like, everybody like having box braids and like having French braids and all of that was a big trend. And now that I think about it, yes, it was a big trend, but it wasn't like, oh, you have to have. Well, I don't remember, because like my having braids for me was not part of an aesthetic. Like, I had to wear braids. My parents didn't like me wearing my hair down, so it was like a big thing for me. But I do remember reminiscing on whether braids were in or out. It was a rule at my school that you at least had to have braids once a week. Like, Monday through Friday, at least one of the days you had to have braids. Obviously, you would get along with your friends, whether the best day to wear it was Friday or Monday or Tuesday or whatever. Like, it was a big trend of you getting together with your friends and wearing similar things, or wearing the same hairstyle, or wearing the same color shirt. Like, it was big back then. It was cool. And if you happened to match, like, all the girls wore braids on Friday, like, that was cool back then. But you at least had to wear braids once. For me, like, it didn't really matter what braids, but some girls didn't know how to braid, so we would literally be braiding our hair in class. And you know how there's a lot of videos nowadays where, like, kids are saying, like, oh, the teacher just told me, like, this is not a makeup salon or whatever, or something like that. Like, back then, our teachers would be saying, like, this is not a salon, like, y'all are doing your hair. We would literally get gel, water, like, we would bring everything to class to do our hair there. And yeah, we got in trouble. I think I used to bring my hair also in class, and I think like once or twice the teacher told me, like, stop doing your hair, like, start doing your stuff, and I'm like, I'm done. So yeah, having braids was so in back then. Another thing in regards to like whole community class trends was for girls, it was Mean Girls. Like, Mean Girls was such a big thing. I still think it is, but I think they ruined it with the new movie. Haven't seen it because they did it a musical, and people, you know, they love to compare new, old, previous, and OG original. So I feel like it turned down a little bit, but back then, Mean Girls was such a big thing. Like, everybody had an attitude. But like, even if you didn't, like, oh my god, then you were not only looked down upon, but you were bullied. So having a big ego and having that sassiness helped out, especially within the girl community. So yeah, every single Wednesday, if you really wanted to be a cool girl, a girly girl, you had to wear pink. That was like a must back then. Another big trend that everybody was like super for was the loom bracelets, like the little plastic bracelets, and there's some rubber band bracelets that you would take them off and they would have different shapes. Everybody was crazy for those, even the guys. Obviously, they would collect like the blue, black, and like yellow, like the I don't want to say guy colors, but the more neutral colors that they wouldn't get told negative stuff about. But everybody, even the boys would be trying to trade. We would trade those. Hold on. We would trade those bracelets. I forgot what they were called, but there's like the little animal star, watermelon, strawberry shapes. Like everybody was for it. Another big trend back then, trying to remember, was yeah, I know everybody has social media nowadays. Maybe this was only at my school. Since my school is big on the phones and stuff, Wi-Fi wasn't great either. I feel like it still isn't for some schools, but it was getting to school at 7 or 8 a.m. way before classes start, during the breakfast or hallway, to get the intel, the insider intel on the new trends. Why? Because if you didn't know the trend and somebody made like a joke or somebody did a reference, that's how we communicated back then. We would say a reference or we would say something. And if you didn't know the reference of the trend we were talking about, you were seen to be uncool, unfit, and you were like, ugh, like whatever, this person doesn't know anything. So a few of the trends that were big back then was, what are those in regards to your shoes, Daniels. I don't remember if there's a guy from State Farm. What's the other one? There's so many other trends, but I forgot. A big thing that also came around with colors was the trend of, well, I'll talk about that later, but yeah, so you had to know like what we were talking about to do that. The most, obviously TikTok wasn't a thing back then, but the way we would get like our stuff would be Vines. I didn't really see Vines, like I said. I didn't really have access to a lot of this technology, but I would see my friends and some other classmates. Obviously, the school later banned these accounts from our Chromebooks. So what we would do, everybody would see the trends or see them in their phones or at home, and then when it came to school, like we would practice it, we would say it. So let's say, and it happened to me several times where I didn't know the trend. And if somebody said, what are those? And I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, oh, whatever, you're so lame, you're such a loser. But later with the early intel, not only me, but we would be there in the morning, hallway, restroom, or in the cafeteria. Everybody exchanged the new trends they saw. And then we, for that day, like those top 4, 5, 10 trends, we would be saying them every single day. Well, throughout the day. Obviously, if the trend was overused, overexposed, like the joke was overdone, by the next day, that trend was over. Everybody hated that phrase or saying or whatever. So, let's continue with the joke or the thing or what are those. So, what I started to do, because I didn't want to be left out, I would also grab the intel, and if anybody would tell me, oh, have you seen this one? I'm like, oh my god, yes, blah blah. I would lie. I would straight up lie. I remember the second time I got told, what are those? The first one was by an older kid, so I was good. Like, I was like, there's no way they're gonna be like, oh, she's so uncool or whatever. But then somebody in my grade level was like, oh, what are those? No, and then I repeated the same thing back. Like, I just pretended like I knew the trend. I was like, oh my god, what are those? And then we were both like, what are those? What are those? And he's like, hey, yo, like, that's so cool. And then, yeah, I was like, I was within the joke. So, like, that's just an example. So we would do that for everything, literally. And it was a must. Sometimes some kids would overdo the joke, or like it stopped being cool. And let's say I learned all this trends for today, and then tomorrow I'm like, I start doing the joke again. I'm like, what are those? And they're like, yeah, like that's old already, like stop. So we were big on 24-hour trends. So now kids have like TikTok and whatever, and their trend can go a little bit longer, you know, especially the more views they have and whatever. But ours were like less than 24 hours. Like those 8 hours of school, that was when the trend started. Unless the trend was super, super big, then obviously it would be continued, but otherwise it was less than 24 hours. So you had to know the trends, or like me, I'm pretty sure other people lied as well. We would just pretend. We'd be like, oh yeah, like of course I've seen that one. Another big thing in regards to colors was filters. Oh my god, everybody had Snapchat. I didn't have Snapchat, but I lived through the Snapchats of other people. Having streaks was like the end of the world. It was like kind of like stories nowadays, but back then it was like, have you done this streak? And if you lose that streak with someone, it's like constant communication, like messaging, like images. I really don't recall how it worked, but I think you send a picture and it had little text in it. And some people would literally like get out of class or in the middle of the restroom or like in the middle of the day and be like, oh my god, I need my streak, I'm gonna lose my streak. Or they would like, you know, the same way how now, like at least some of my friends are like, oh my god, so and so, like this guy they have a crush on, saw their story. Back then it was like, oh my god, I started a streak with Jake, for example. Oh my god, I have a streak with Jake, and like I can't lose my streak with Jake. So it's like it was such a big thing. Snapchat was such middle school coded. It died a little bit down in high school, and then by the time I got in college, like everybody, we all collectively said, from my age range, I don't know about y'all's, but in my age range, we were like, Snapchat's not cool anymore. That was middle school coded. We stopped using it. Now we use some other platforms. So I thought it was so funny that for kids nowadays, like the big social media is TikTok, and for ours it was Snapchat. And having streaks and losing those was crazy. Like I remember some girls having like a fight, like, you lost your streak, we're not friends anymore, blah blah. Like it was bad, like bad. People would skip class or be late to class because of a streak. It was crazy. But what else? Another thing was, like I said, Snapchat with the filters. Even though some of the filters now are iffy in regards to like how they should be used and stuff, back then our filters were crazy. Our filters were dog faces, like the tongue one. I was like, I'll put pictures when I edit this. So it's like the dog filter, the flower filter, it was like black, sepia, different, like, it was a filter that didn't change your features. The only way you change your features, I think it was like a baby face one. Literally all filters would make your face look like a little bit like chubbier and like a baby, like this, and your body looks smaller. Or was it vice versa? Your face was bigger and your body was smaller. But what I do remember was that the filters we used to use didn't change our faces like now, the ones that we use now, but they changed the color of our clothes. So maybe I'm wearing like a blue shirt, and then I put a filter on and it would turn into purple. And the big controversy that came with that was a famous, I guess, trend and topic back then, which was it a blue dress or a gold dress at this award show? I forgot what the award show was, but it was a big thing back then. And people, let me tell you, I don't know how schools are nowadays, but back then, whole school surveys were a big thing. People would be doing surveys out of the most randomest things, and there would be somebody recording them, and keeping track of them, and it was so crazy. Usually there would be one person per each grade level, I guess. I'm just talking about my grade level, my experience when I was there. But there was, I do remember like one of the older kids also doing surveys of like what we thought was, it's like the, like dumb questions like, does pineapple belong on pizza? but it would be with trends or with opinions they had, or do you think spiders go into your ears? Like, it would be the most randomest questions. We had the most randomest things. So that was also a big thing, and I remember having one of those surveys. Like, this guy literally stopped me in the middle of the hallway, and he's like, was it blue or gold? And at that time, I literally lied my eyes out, because I was like, I had no idea. I had gotten, it was like 7:30 or 8. I still hadn't got the debrief of the trends with my friends and with other people, because I would just pretend like I knew the trend, but I didn't. But that's the way I felt included, because like I was like being left out at that time. It was like so bad. I was so insecure in middle school. So take that into account. Let me do my eyeliner. Oh my god, makeup was such a big thing back then, but we'll talk about that right now. So going back, where was I? Oh yeah, so this guy did a survey with me, and he's like, was it blue or gold? And I was like, it was gold, obviously. And I had no idea what I was talking about. And he's like, oh my god, what the heck? He was like so mad. He was like, oh my god, I literally asked like 30 people already, and like 15 said blue, and like, I don't know, the other 15 or whatever said gold. And he would be asking everybody, and that was common back then. Like, surveys were such a big thing. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if schools nowadays, like, people do that or not. But back then, we would do the eyeliner so bad. Was big back then. Another thing, makeup for the girls. Eyeliner and wearing like super colorful eyeshadow was such a big thing. I wasn't allowed to wear makeup until I was 15, but it was more like mascara and lipstick. Not lipstick, but like lip balm. Obviously I did wear makeup in secret for my parents, like foundation and stuff, but I couldn't wear super colorful stuff, and I never learned, because of that, I never learned how to do my eyeliner or my eyeshadow, not until I was in my 20s. So, but I do remember, and I still like admire the girls who can do their eyeshadow and the eyeliner. Eyeliner was such a big thing back then. The thicker and the better it was the best. Even the most girly girls who wore pink would wear eyeliner. Now I know that like eyeliner is more for like another aesthetic, and like usually the girly makeup is like less eyeliner or whatever. So back then everybody wore eyeliner. I'm like trying to do mine. So that is why I do eyeliner at home, so I can practice, because I never learned how to do that in my teens. So, like I said, it was a big thing. Having full face blown out makeup was such a big thing. The super, I don't know if they're called box eyebrows, but like the super thick eyebrows were such a big thing back then. I do remember having pictures of my eyebrows. Like, I have black hair, but like, the good thing is mine were never super thick, because I don't have a super thick, like, what's called templates of an eyebrow, but I do remember them being super black, like bad. Now I know it's like the thinner eyebrow thing, but full face makeup and super thick eyebrows was such an in back then. I don't know. I like the way I do mine now, which is like between the thin eyebrow and the thick eyebrow. I don't like the thin eyebrow the way it looks. I'm so sorry if you do, but I don't. I don't like the soapy eyebrows either. No. I do like the 2016 eyebrow. Obviously not super thick, but I do think it just looks better. I think. Don't judge too hard. But yeah. So, pretty much. Another thing, we had a lot of, our slang wasn't really much slang, but it was like abbreviations, like LOL, oh my god, I took out my thing, hold on. I don't remember the other phrases, but it was like laughing, LMAO, and things like that. I really don't remember what it was. But that was such a thing to do. We would abbreviate everything. Like, we just started doing, like, sorry, we just started doing the most randomest things. Like, if I said, what can I say? Like, duh, math is boring. Like, we would abbreviate that. Like, we would abbreviate everything. And then sometimes I would be like, what does that mean? Another big thing was graffitiing each other's stuff and putting, Jake was here, or John was here, or Rebecca was here. Like, everybody would be putting that in your stuff. Using whiteout to graffiti your stuff was such a big thing back then. I feel like this side looks better than this one, but I don't know how to erase this one. FYI, if your parents let you do your makeup before in your teens, try it out, because in your teens, like, you can do your makeup, you can make mistakes and nothing happens, but once you're at a certain age, people look at you like, what is up with you? And I'm like, I don't know how to do makeup. But yeah, what else? I don't know what that is. Oh, I just got a message. Another thing, boy bands was such a big thing. I don't remember if it's still 2016 or not, but I'm just saying my experience. We call it 5 sauce, but 5 SOS was a big thing. One Direction was a big thing. The Vamps, for me, was a big thing. They were British. Well, no, American boy band? British. Some of them are British, some of them American. I forgot what specific band it was, but yeah. So, a lot of boy bands were big back then. Similar to how, like, K-pop girls have their groups. Like, we would have our same thing, and we would fight for our groups. Like, whoever, like, if a boy said, ew, One Direction's, like, disgusting, like, we would be arguing of, no, what direction. We would interrupt whole time classes to do that. So I really don't remember if I'm missing anything else from 2016 that I know of. I already said the trends of having colorful shoes. That's another thing. The light up shoes. Going back to when we were like elementary kids and we would have those light up shoes for Skechers. Well, it turns out like a brand, I don't know, different brands, right? But like I don't know what was the first brand that came out with a newer, cooler version of them that were for like older teen age kids. That was a big thing back then. And yeah, pretty much. I can't find my little. I have like this thing. Hold on. Oh, here it is. So yeah, that was 2016. Those were the ins, the outs, the reality. Let me think. Something else? No, that's. I don't really remember if I'm missing anything else, so let me know. Anything else you want to know? But something traumatic that happened to me in 2016 was my first prom. So get ready for that story. I was debating on whether sharing it or not, but like might as well, you know? I still need to do my hair, so I need to say something, because I can't put music, because then I get copyrighted, I guess. But okay. But let's go. So, I love making content currently, and I love like videos and reels and TikToks and all of that. And a lot of my friends have me in the concept of literally, she loves doing trends, she loves following all the little, like, the trending videos and stuff. Hold on, I need a hairbrush. So, I had a friend who was like, oh my god, why haven't you done, like, your trend, like, of 2016? Like, you totally, like, follow it, like, you're always, like, doing, like, little videos and stuff. And the thing is, like I said, I don't have pictures of 2016, and not only that, but I wasn't super pretty 2016 either. I was barely getting myself out there because I was going to be having a quinceañera, which is like a 15th birthday party, and you might say, what does this have to do with your first prom ever? Well, I wasn't super friendly. I didn't know how life was, okay? I did not have trust issues back then. I literally trusted people blindly. And it was, my parents were strict and everything, so I wasn't really super out there. And when prom came along, I remember I was, like, excited but scared because, like, you know, I was like, what if my parents don't let me, you know, go to the prom? But I was as excited as well as every other girl. But like I said, I still wasn't completely pretty. At least to the standards that were back then. Obviously, the Kardashians were like a big thing, and yeah. So my biggest thing was like, oh, like I never like experienced this. I don't have really a lot of friends. I wasn't super girly. I would dress a little tomboy, but for other reasons, and I wasn't feeling myself as like as a girly, you know. Like I did like girly stuff and everything, but I still hadn't found myself. It's like that weird era where you're like, I'm a kid, I'm a teenager, I don't know what to wear, like my body's changing, like I wish I looked like this person, but I don't. So it was like all those insecurities, and all of that came brushing by when prom came along. Cause like I said, I was in between my ugly duckling phase. And it wasn't really a phase, like that ugly duckling stage would come and go, come and go, come and go. So it was around the time where I had kind of turned a little bit pretty, and but I wasn't really, like, I had friends, but I only had like a specific group, and then the rest, like, I was new to school, so I didn't know. And prom season was in town, and I was scared, but I was excited, and I was thinking like, ooh, what if somebody invites me? And I think I planned it with my parents beforehand, and I said, will you let me go to prom? And they're like, yes. And they're like, well, if somebody invites you, just let him know that, like, that we're gonna drop you off, like, he's not gonna do, like, go anywhere, like, you're not going in a party bus, you're not going to an after party, you're not doing all of this, you're only going to prom with him, and you'll meet him there, and that's it. Like, that's all you're doing. So make she's like, make sure you know, or you let whoever invites you, and I still hadn't gotten invited. I just told her that I wanted to go, and she's like, these are my rules if you're planning to go to prom. If you don't want to follow them, then you're not going to prom, and I choose your dress. So, and I was like, yes, okay, fine, yeah, it doesn't matter, because I wanted to go to prom. I wasn't really out there for parties, I didn't really get invited, so prom was like such a big thing for me. And finally, prom was like 3 weeks away, I think. And I started getting like more social and more everything, right? And I started making friends, and most of my friends already had boyfriends or they had somebody going. And this guy in class asked me to go to prom with him. And I thought it was like a joke, but at the same time I was like, what if it's not a joke? Like, what if he's actually saying the truth? So I didn't believe him, so I told him to tell me again. And he's like, what do you mean tell you again? I was like, ask me again. But literally, now that I think about it, like, he didn't even try. He could have done, like, you know, something a little bit more special or a little bit more out there, but, like, I guess. So he just asked me. We were doing a project together, and it was red flag since the beginning. Because we got into a project, and the teacher's like, oh, you're going to be with her. And he was like, oh, whatever, blah, blah. And I was like, bro, what are you saying? Anyways, I don't remember how much time we actually talked before he even mentioned prom. But I do remember he's like, so I think he wrote it. He wrote it, or he... No, yeah, he's like, prom or what? And I was like, what? Like I said, being a mean girl was a big thing back then. So, I wasn't a mean girl to him. I just gave him a little sass because I was like, what? Because like I said, he had done like a face when they told him he was gonna be with me for a school project. So I was like, yeah, payback. But later on, like my real she wants to go to prom, and I'm just like being, you know, mean. And so I was like, tell me again and I'll tell you the answer. And he's like, bro, what? And I was like, well, yeah, do you want to ask me yes or no? And then he was like, fine. So he asked me again, but like he didn't even look at me in the face. He was like, we were talking to each other like this. And he was like, so do you want to go to prom? I was like, yes. And that's it, literally. That's how I got asked prom. And you're like, what is the whole point of this? Traumatized. This is where my traumatizing starts. I think that is when, yeah, I think it is. From then on, like, if somebody says, oh, I think so-and-so likes you, or I think maybe blah, blah, I'm like, no, they don't. No, they don't. And I promise you, if somebody tells me in my face, I like you, I'm gonna be like, you're lying. Like, I haven't said that, like, out loud, but, like, in my head, I'm like, you're lying. You're lying, because there's no way. So, anyways, he asked me, and then he says like, so what's your favorite flower? And I was like, I don't know. So he started looking up flowers right there in class. And I was like, I don't know, just I guess white because it fits with anything. And right after that or before that, he told me, you look like my mom or something like that, or you smell like my mom. And I'm like, what? And I had this vanilla bean Hawaiian cream from Bath and Body Works, and I would always like put it on. And I had this silver ring that my mom gave me, and he's like, my mom has a similar ring and she smells like your cream. And I was like, I was 14, guys. I was like, it's weird. So anyways, going from there, my traumatic experience was at the end of the day, I couldn't confirm it like out of him for real, but I think I was a bet. I think I was asked to go to prom as a joke. So if you're in your prom era, because I know you can go to prom in elementary for 5th grade, you can go to middle school prom, and then you can go to high school prom. So if you are within those ages, take it with a light of heart. Like, don't be scared. Like, that's fine. Everybody happens. Just, I think, have fun with it. Don't get your heart broken. The good thing is I didn't have a crush on this person. Like, I didn't like anybody. I was focused in school and with fitting in at my new school. So let me take this sweater off and let me show you the picture. So let's go with the traumatizing thing. So I think I was a bet because when I got there, his parents were so nice. He was like, whatever. I don't remember if he called me pretty or not. Probably not, but I know I looked way different with him at prom than what I usually would look like. I would wear contacts back then. And his parents were super nice. They both had glasses. Like, if we would have worked out, I guess, which we weren't even like boyfriend or girlfriend. We were just random classmates. We literally looked like his parents. Like, we share the same circle face, and we had glasses and stuff. And obviously, I wore contacts back then. He started wearing contacts after, and I started wearing glasses. Weird, but okay. So anyways, his parents were super nice, and he was like, oh, I'll pick you up. And I was like, no, like, my parents don't let me. And he got a little bit mad. He was like, what do you mean? And I was like, my parents, those are the rules, you know. I can't go with anybody to prom. I will see you at prom, and like, we can go together, blah blah, but I can't like be in a car with somebody else. And he was like, oh, yeah, whatever, blah blah. Turns out his mom was so excited. She picked out, I will forever love her. This is not talking bad about your son, ma'am. This is talking about my experience and how I think I was a bet that your son did. I still had fun. He was a 50-50. He was 50 good experience and 50 bad experience. So let's just leave that out there. So this is me. I looked gorgeous. You know how long it took to do that hair? Because my hair is straight as heck, and it does not curl for the life. So that was me, and that was the thing. His mom prepared. He ended up doing the white thing, and then he's like, "What color are you wearing?" So we can match. So in that case, like, he was like a good prom date because like he made sure we matched and everything. But when time came, like, he was like, he's the one that asked me to prom. So I'm like, why are you like so like? He was like so like, oh, whatever, like, oh, Like, why am I even going with you? But I'm like, you asked. But I was blind. I was like, I don't care. I got invited to prom. He was not ugly. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna get so canceled. But he was not ugly. I thought he was nice looking. Like, he was okay. Like I said, I didn't have a crush on anybody. I wasn't used to like talking to guys in that sense, you know? Like, I was like a tomboy. Like, I would play basketball. Like, I would have like 2-3 girlfriends, but that's pretty much it. I wasn't super social, so this for me was like a big thing, and I don't know. Anyways, so he was like so out of it. Like, I was like, he's like, oh, whatever, mom and dad. And I thought it was because his parents were there, and his parents were so happy and like cool with me being there. Hold on, guys.